Good morning. Good to have you with us on a Friday. I'm Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Yeah, there's the good news. We made it to the end of the week. We're going to begin our show at the White House today, where President Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy for talks that could have a major impact on the war with Russia.
The two men are expected to sign a deal that would give the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. But the meeting comes amid frayed relations between both leaders. Mr. Trump recently called President Zelenskyy a dictator after the Ukrainian leader said the president was living in a Russian disinformation bubble. Zelenskyy is expected to push the U.S. for more security guarantees as part of any peace deal with Russia. The Ukraine war was also a major topic of discussion at the White House yesterday when President Trump hosted Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer. NBC Nightly News anchor Lester Holt sat down with Starmer following those talks.
President Trump and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer reaffirming the country's enduring special relationship.
In a moment of real danger around the world, this relationship matters more than ever.
A high-stakes meeting as talks start to end the war in Ukraine. President Trump saying he's confident any deal with Russia's President Putin will last.
I don't believe he's going to violate his word. You know, it's trust and verify. Let's call it that.
And he was asked, can he get back Ukrainian territory that Russia seized?
A lot of the sea line has been taken. We're going to see if we can get it back or get a lot of it back for Ukraine, if that's possible.
While also expressing some doubt. President Trump saying Ukraine's President Zelenskyy will come to the White House to sign a deal giving the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals to pay back the U.S. for billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. And the president was pressed about his previous comments calling Zelenskyy a dictator.
Do you still think that Mr. Zelenskyy is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Hello, Prime Minister. How are you?
We spoke with the Prime Minister moments after that White House meeting.
If I understand President Trump correctly, he says, let's do a peace deal regarding Ukraine first and then come back and visit the area of security guarantees. That doesn't sound like what you came here to tell him.
Well, let me first start by saying that President Trump has changed the conversation on Ukraine. And so it's created this opportunity, and we all hope that that deal is forthcoming. What's most important, I think, is that it's a lasting deal, that it's not just a temporary pause. And to be lasting, it's important that the deal is defended, that Putin knows he can't go again. And that's why I've been concerned to ensure that on the European side, all countries, including the United Kingdom, step up. And I've said that we're willing to play our full part in any security guarantees, and also obviously talking to the president about what that might look like.
You said in a news conference today that you're all in, that you're ready to go to put boots on the ground. What's your larger message about what the UK is willing to do and advance forward in the name of peace?
The first element is a wider argument, which is that Europe and the United Kingdom need to do more in our own defence. And that's why this week I announced the biggest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War. That's the macro argument about the defence of the continent. In relation to Ukraine, I do think that it's important that European countries play a leading part in any security guarantees. And that's why I've said that the UK would put boots on the ground if necessary.
The president speaks positively of Russia, of Vladimir Putin. He's the one that ultimately he'll have to negotiate with. Do you trust Vladimir Putin as a good faith partner?
Well, look, I think President Trump is quite right to have brought these proceedings to talks, because we've had 3 long years now. There have been many people killed and injured in this. I was in Kyiv just a few weeks ago, and I was in the burns unit of a hospital. I saw firsthand the human scars that those on the front line and actually civilians are bearing. So we need this peace. My concern is that we know historically that Putin might go again.
Sounds like you don't trust him.
Well, look, I mean, I think that he has ambitions. I think he will go again, and I've made my views on President Putin pretty clear on a number of occasions.
Our thanks to Lester Holt for that report from Washington.
Let's keep this conversation going with NBC News White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist. Aaron, good morning. So what are the expectations from the White House's perspective on this meeting with Zelensky? Is this minerals agreement a done deal?
Well, Savannah, we've learned that the deal is not done until President Trump says the words that the deal is done. We know we've gotten indications both from the U.S. side and the Ukrainian side that this rare earth minerals deal had been progressing and was at a point where the folks who were involved in the minute-by-minute negotiation process have indicated that it looks as though this deal has come together in a way that both the U.S. and the Ukrainians can get behind. And so today, when we see President Trump and President Zelensky together, the expectation is that they will sign this deal, likely in front of cameras. We know that this will look very much like other foreign leader visits that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, with President Zelensky joining President Trump in the Oval Office, and then there will be a news conference after they meet. But signing this deal would give the U.S., as you noted, access to those rare earth minerals that Ukraine is rich with, and it would allow mining of those minerals. So there could likely be Americans in Ukraine mining these minerals. The president has suggested that would help to create some semblance of security, having Americans in that regard on the ground inside Ukraine as opposed to troops on the ground there. You may remember that originally the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, traveled to Ukraine, offered a deal that was worth $500 billion favoring the U.S. The Ukrainians obviously said no to that, and so this negotiation has happened, but it does seem as though today it is likely that this deal will be signed, allowing for the U.S. to go into Ukraine and mine these minerals, and allowing at least the beginning of a process to talk about how exactly the U.S. can be a backstop for the European folks who've decided to play a larger role in the defense of Ukraine now and going forward, Joe and Savannah.
Hey, Aaron, while we're on the topic of international relations, we're also learning about when tariffs on Canada and Mexico could go into effect, plus details about new duties on China. What did the president say about all that, and how are those countries responding?
Yeah, this started with a post yesterday on the president's social media site saying that these tariffs are going to go into effect on March 4th, next week. We would see a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada, and there would also be an additional 10% tariff on some goods from China. There is already a new 10% tariff in place on China. This is something that had been put on pause. The president indicated that his concern was the flow of illegal drugs, of fentanyl coming into the U.S. from Canada and from Mexico. There were concerns, he said, about the flow of illegal immigrants as well. The sense was that Canada and Mexico had done some things to sort of alleviate those concerns, and that was the reason for the pause that we saw at the beginning of February. But the president indicated in his post that what they've done has not been sufficient, and that these tariffs would go into effect. I do want you to hear what the Canadian Prime Minister said in a news conference about all this yesterday.
Canada is not the source of problems for the United States. We will continue to do that work and do everything necessary to avoid these tariffs coming in. But like I said, if on Tuesday there are unjustified tariffs brought in on Canada, we will have an immediate and extremely strong response.
And Joe and Savannah, the conversations continue, the negotiations continue on these tariffs and what can be done to stop these tariffs from going into effect. There's reporting that the Canadians and Mexicans both have representatives in Washington now trying to discuss this, trying to keep these tariffs from happening on Tuesday. But of course, we'll have to see what happens come midnight Tuesday.
Aaron, also other big story we've been following, these layoffs, the cuts to the federal workforce. This morning, a federal judge has ordered the Office of Personnel Management to rescind a memo that called for the mass firing of federal workers. Walk us through this ruling and what this ultimately means as we continue to watch the president push to downsize the government.
Yeah, this ruling out of California really was strongly worded from this judge, telling OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, that it had to rescind this memo that told the agencies, federal agencies, that they needed to fire probationary employees. We've seen several agencies do that since the initial memo came out. The judge called it illegal. He said the Office of Personnel Management doesn't have any authority whatsoever under any statute in history of the universe, his term, in making this decision to hire and fire employees at other agencies. The question, though, Joe and Savannah, becomes, can you unring this bell? The memo's been out there, even if it's rescinded. The agencies have received it. We've heard reporting that the DOD is supposed to be firing some probationary employees today, and the judge has told OPM to tell DOD that that would be an invalid action. He's also called the head of the OPM to come before him for a hearing. We don't yet have a date for that, though.
Aaron Gilchrist, thank you very much.
Let's pick it up there. That ruling by a federal judge to rescind the memo directing the mass firing of federal workers does not reinstate dismissed employees, including those from USAID. Now, the laid-off foreign workers were allowed back inside the agency's headquarters on Thursday. They were given just 15 minutes to collect their belongings and clear out their desks. WRC's Juliana Valencia was outside the agency as it happened.
For your service. Thank you. A display of solidarity as Let Go federal employees leave with their belongings. More than 5,600 USAID employees have been fired or placed on leave, but it's unclear how many work at the agency's headquarters here at the Ronald Reagan building. The Trump administration said it is eliminating more than 90% of USAID's foreign aid contracts and $60 billion in overall U.S. assistance around the world. This according to an internal memo obtained by the Associated Press. The Supreme Court intervened in a case late Wednesday that resulted from a lawsuit filed by nonprofit organizations over the cutoff of foreign assistance through USAID. The higher court temporarily blocking a lower court's order requiring the administration to release billions of dollars in foreign aid by midnight Wednesday. We spoke to Randy Chester, the vice president of the American Foreign Services Association, the union representing foreign service officers. He still has a job at USAID, but is unsure for how long.
What we've seen over the past few weeks, the real demonization of public service is really tragic. What we do every day, day in and day out, is support the American public and the American people. And today, people have been given 15 minutes to collect their belongings and go home. The mood is sad. People don't understand why. They've been trusted public servants for decades, and all of a sudden they're no longer trusted employees. And what we're saying to them is, no, we trust you, we value you, and we're proud of the work you've done on behalf of American people, and that's what we're here to support.
Our thanks to Juliana for that report. Laid-off workers have been given time slots to enter the building over the next few days to get the rest of their belongings.
Well, this morning, we're learning more about the mysterious deaths of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. The couple and one of their dogs were found dead inside their Santa Fe, New Mexico home under what investigators are now calling suspicious circumstances. Police say the couple had been deceased for some time when their bodies were discovered Wednesday afternoon.
The official causes of their deaths have not yet been determined. Officials say there were no obvious signs of foul play, but new details from a search warrant are raising questions, and authorities say the mysterious deaths will require a thorough search and investigation.
NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz joins us now from Santa Fe, New Mexico, with the latest on this unfolding investigation. Liz, good morning. So investigators have called the circumstances here suspicious, as we said, but no clear cause or anything like that has been identified. What do we know at this point about the timeline of events leading up to the discovery of the fact that they are deceased?
Yeah, hey guys. Well, we know that this happened at the couple's estate here in this gated community in Santa Fe. Their bodies were discovered on Wednesday morning, but officials saying that it could have been quite some time that they had been deceased, with Hackman's wife showing signs of mummification on her body. That is a big question still about when they passed. But we're hearing an urgent 911 calls from maintenance workers who discovered their bodies. They're the ones who saw through the window and could see their bodies and called police. Here's what officials are saying right now.
There was no obvious sign or indication of, a foul play. There was no immediate sign of foul play. Haven't ruled that out yet. This is an investigation, so we're keeping everything on the table. I think the autopsy is going to tell us a lot.
Now, we know that the couple were found in two separate parts of the home. Hackman was found in a mudroom sort of near the kitchen with the door to the outside sort of ajar, while his wife was found in the bathroom. There was an open pill bottle on the counter and a space heater nearby. One of their dogs, a German Shepherd, was also found dead in a closet, but two of their other two dogs were found healthy and alive. So a lot of questions here, but officials are saying that there's no signs of forced entry into the home, no signs of trauma to the bodies. But that said, investigators protectively are collecting any kind of sharp or blunt objects in the home that could have been used as a murder or some kind of weapon as they continue this investigation.
Liz, you mentioned some of those details from the search warrant that stand out, like the pills scattered on the counter, like the fallen space heater. I mean, there is still a long way to go in this investigation, but at this point, as far as possible causes of death, has anything been ruled out?
Yeah, no, not at this time. And we're hearing from the chief this morning, the fire chief, saying that there is still a possibility, of course, that it could have been carbon monoxide poisoning. There's no signs of a gas leak so far from the initial investigation. But just on the Today Show, Savannah Guthrie asked, is it possible that if they had been there for so long, that potentially the gas had dissipated by the point that authorities got in there? And he said that that's a possibility. So that's very much possible. A toxicology report is being done. Medical investigators are not commenting right now, but they are conducting a full autopsy. It could take up to 3 months before we actually get an official cause of death, guys.
All right, Liz Kreutz, thank you so much.
Joining us now to continue the conversation is NBC News terrorism analyst, retired special agent in charge at the ATF, Jim Kavanagh. Jim, let's pick it up kind of where Liz was talking. No obvious signs of foul play. They're still calling the death suspicious. Those toxicology and autopsy results, are they really going to be the key here in figuring out what happened?
Yes, they're critical, Joe, because, you know, when you call these things unattended deaths, you get to the scene. I did many as a uniformed officer, certainly investigated different ones in ATF, you know, in arsons and bombings and violent murders. And this is an unattended death, so you don't know the circumstances. There's no living eyewitness to tell you he got sick and he fell, or he grabbed his chest, or he had pain, or whatever. There's no one. There's just the circumstances and the facts. The medical examiner is critical. And I agree with Liz's reporting here on carbon monoxide. We dealt with that so much, too, in ATF and arsons and so forth. It's the byproducts of combustion. And so it's invisible. It's colorless. It's odorless. And it dissipates. You open the windows and you open the doors to get rid of carbon monoxide if your carbon monoxide detector goes off. And here we have an open door in the house, and we have a long time span. So it can't be ruled out. But it isn't absolute either, because the other critical factor here for the medical examiner is going to be the time of death of Mr. Hackman and his wife. Did she predecease him by even a couple of days? If the medical examiner can determine that, then we can look at the circumstances differently. If there's no carbon monoxide in any of the two humans and the canine, then, and she predeceased him, maybe she slipped and fell in the bathroom, the heater near her head, as the responding uniformed deputy observed. I read the search warrant. He observed that, and that was very good reporting. He said it looked like she fell, and there's pills on the counter. Now, it's hard to spill pills on the counter without some of them maybe reaching the floor. And so, you know, it's possible the dog could have eaten some of the pills and died. They're only a 50, 70-pound dog. He could have died if he ate, depending on what the pills are. And the doctor could, a medical examiner could probably tell us that. Now, Mr. Hackman was in a mudroom, which is also called an entryway near the kitchen. So was he trying to get help? He had his cane, his sunglasses nearby. The deputy also reported it looked like he fell. So when you're 95, you know, my father reached 95, and he had fell a few times. And it's difficult when you're that age sometimes to even get up. And, you know, you could fall and just expire because you can't get up. You just lay there. You can lay there for days. So the medical examiner's report, first thing we want to see, absolutely, is he ruling out carbon monoxide? Second, can he tell us the time of death between the two victims and what killed the canine? And then we'll probably have some of the answers.
All right, Jim Kavanagh, appreciate your expertise this morning. Thank you so much.
Let's now take a look at what to expect this weekend with your Morning News Now weather.
Angie Lastman joins us. Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning to you. We made it to Friday, last day of the work week, and we've got a couple of trouble spots, but we've also got some good news. So let's start with some of the snow that we're tracking this morning and some cooler conditions that are going to settle in for some folks. Specifically across the Great Lakes, you can see some of that heavy snow working across the upper peninsula of Michigan, the lower peninsula. We saw Wisconsin get some of that in Minnesota earlier today, and even a couple of these higher spots across the Northeast picking up some snow. We do have a couple of winter alerts up. This is, of course, because of that Clipper system that's going to slide right through this region. It's going to be a fast mover, as usual, for these Clippers. Most of the heavy snow is going to stay well to our north, but we could see some accumulating snow across parts of the Adirondacks. So heads up for folks there. It could be a little iffy when it comes to driving on the roadways and such, but good if you're planning on heading out this weekend for any snow. We've got the gusty winds, though, on the backside of this. Now, this is going to do a couple of things. It's going to leave us dealing with the lake effect snow here as we get into tomorrow as that system exits, but it's also going to leave us with these wind alerts that are up for today. We've got 53 million people from the Great Lakes up to the northern plains that are under these alerts, and you can see why. Wind speeds 40, close to 50 miles per hour across this region. So again, your trash can might end up down the block. You could see some down branches, etc. here as we get through the day today as this system works through. The good news is it's windy, but it's not bitter cold like it has been in recent weeks. Instead, it's windy and kind of warm for this time of year, honestly. We've got 59 for Des Moines, running more than 20 degrees above normal in a lot of these spots. Wichita hits the 70s. Wichita Falls, Houston, you're well into the 70s. There is a change on the way, though. Notice the Great Lakes for tomorrow. 20 is back in the picture for Green Bay. And then the big picture look as we wrap up the weekend and head into next week is we'll have a bit of a roller coaster ride. So Green Bay in the 30s on Sunday, back to the 40s and high 40s on Tuesday. We go from the 30s to the 50s from Sunday to Tuesday in Columbus. Baltimore, same kind of thing, 39 on Sunday, low 40s by the time we kick off our next work week. And even across the South, it gets a little cooler, 70s for today, but by Sunday in Little Rock, we've got the mid-50s. It's a slow kind of build-up back, though, to those upper 60s by the time Tuesday rolls around. It is spring after all, guys. It's that kind of transition season, and we officially start the first day of spring tomorrow, so no surprise that we've got this roller coaster ride of temperatures coming our way.
Wow, I didn't realize it is officially spring tomorrow.
Meteorological spring, very important difference.
Yeah, because now we're going to go back to winter, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
All right. Angie, thanks so much. See you in a little bit.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.